Okay, now what we try to do, let's look at the problem now. Okay, this is the problem. So you see, you are a software developer working for eBay and asked to implement an application to generate reports for its participants. All the participants use PayPal to send and receive payments in each transaction. A participant can also deposit money in his or her PayPal account. The participant information are kept in a file, with each participant information being kept in the begin and end pair. So when you look at this problem, the reason that I say it is easy to do, because everything is organized in one file. Think about that. That makes things much, much easier. Everything is kept in a file. And what you will have here is you are going to manage the account information for all these users. So if you just think about this, the first thing that I will come up with would be, I need to model each user's account without any question. I can have many, many accounts, but I have one user's account. And within each user's account, it has basic user's account information, but at the same time, it gets what? It gets transaction information. Okay? But the transaction information, what's transaction? You think about that. What's transaction? What the transaction would do is, transaction has a before state, after state. And then you have the transaction. So what you are going to do is you need to record the state, not what's happening in this transaction. The transaction would be a parameter that you are going to pass in to some type of method. And this method is used to what? To model the account. Okay, to model this account. Now, let's go to Eclipse. Where's my Eclipse? Okay, let's try to create a new project. It's a new Java project. So this is lecture 02-26-2014. Okay. So here, the first thing is I need to create the model. I try to create all the classes that I need. The first thing that I like to have, without any question, is a user account. Make sense? And what type of information you are going to have in user account? What you can do is you would be able to have from the description here. You have name, and you need to have account balance. Okay, you need to have account balance, and you need to have some inventory or stock information here. Okay, so what we are going to have is we are going to have name. Okay, balance. It would have, now that's something that's very, very natural. See, I have a list of product or something like that. That's like the inventory that we have. Okay, suppose we make it a name. That was just called item. Okay, these are the items that you keep, that you buy and sell. So that's the list of items, and item has not been defined. That's fine. We are going to define that in just a little bit. Okay. Now we try to define the item so that we don't have to keep on worrying about it. What's an item here? What's an item? An item will have a name. Okay? Okay? And what I have here is I will have the quantity. That's what I have about the stock information about a specific item that I'm holding. How many Xbox, how many Kindle that I have. That's the information that you have. You only care about the name and you care about the quantity. Okay. And let's continue to read the question paper a little bit more so that we know what type of thing that we need to keep on worrying about. These are the things that you do: buy, sell, and deposit. Okay. And that's all the operations that you have. Okay. Let's look at next page. Sorry. So let's look at the next one. So what you have here is you are asked to print a report displaying for each person with the amount of money that you have in the PayPal account. So you have the account balance information. You have the number of the remaining products for every product category that has been bought. And the participants should be listed in the increasing order based on the amount. What you do is probably at the end you are going to do a kind of sorting based on the account balance. Okay? Does that make sense? So now, once we have this, so let me save both of them. So I create, I try to finish the implementation of this. Okay. So what I will have here is I generate the getters, setters. Probably that's all I need. I don't need much more information here. And the user account. And in the user account, and generate probably getter setters. Okay. Also, let's do getter and setters for this. Then I will generate constructor. A constructor from a field, from what with the name and the initial balance. So when I do that, I will also try to say, what's the items? Is equal to new array list of the item that you have. Okay? Up to this point, everybody understand what I'm doing. And let's look at the business logic. What you have for each account. And that's why I see this problem is easy. Because everything is performed on an account level. That's you have this account, okay, already. You don't have to do any association. And for within each account, you are going to perform different operations. Let's just implement these different operations. What type of operation we try to perform on the account? Deposit. So what we are going to do is probably this would be as simple as the balance is equal to balance plus what? The amount that you're trying to deposit. Does that make sense? That's one operation that you can do. What's the other thing? What other thing that you can do? Very, very naturally, we have buy operation. Okay? And what you have, if you look at this, I already know what's the buy operation. Look at that. Look at buy. I have of this. I have buy operation, I know what's the name, and then what's the number, and what's the product price, what's the price for that. And we look at it. So when you try to buy, you have the name, you have the quantity, and you have the price. That's are the three pieces of information that you have whenever you try to buy. The same thing when you try to sell, that's the three things that you are going to do also. So I'm going to implement operations like that. Because they are just get associated with each account, and that makes the problem much, much, much easier. Okay? And if you just look at it, well, if I identify, buy, I already identify the sell, how could I implement the buy? If I try to buy something, what are you going to do? So what you are going to do is pretty easy to do, is amount of the balance. If you buy, you need to pay money. So I'll let the balance get decremented by the quantity times what? Times the price. Correct? What else you are going to do? You try to see whether or not you have these items already. If you have this item, you try to identify, update the quantity. Okay? You try to update the quantity of this thing. Okay? Does that make sense? So what I will do is I will try to implement a private method that called, I try to look for. So based on the name, I try to look for the item. So what's the return type? The return type is item. Very, very simple. I see for item, items. Go through all these items. I use a simple iteration, a very, very simple iteration. I try to say if the item dot get name dot equals what? The name that you are trying to look for, what I'm going to do is I'm going to return this item. If I cannot find it in all this process, what I'm going to do is I'm going to return a null. As simple as that. So when I try to do this, I try to say, oh, if I can find it, okay? If you can find it, I say if the item is not equal to null, what does that mean? It means I found it somewhere. So what I will do is I will let the item dot set the quantity to be what? So probably I like to do, say, that I call it add the quantity. Okay? And I do not have an add. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to implement that, create the method add. So what I will do is I will say this dot quantity is equal to what I have here. What I'm going to add to. And that's it. And in the user account, if it is not now, if it is now, what you are going to do? I need to create this item. So what I will do is I will create an item. I say item that I'm going to create is equal to new item, and when I try to look at the item, oh, I really don't have a constructor. So what I like to do is I create two constructors now. I'll create a constructor using the fields, okay, and then I'll probably create another default constructor so that in case I don't have anything, I'm still able to create objects, okay. So I'll create an item with the name, with the quantity. And after I create this one, because this is a newly created item, I need to add it to what? To the list of items that I keep track of. Okay? Is that clear? And this is buy. And if you think about this, sell is what? It's just the reverse. Right? Sell is just the reverse. So whenever you try to sell, probably you are going to find it, right? Did we talk about error handling with the item? Probably we do not ask you to even handle the error here, right? So if you want to sell it, it is guaranteed that the item is there, right? So what you are going to do is, you see, if item is equal to now, you are going to do what? Not equal to now. Otherwise, there's something wrong probably. Something like that. And that's these two operations that we are going to have. So, when you have this, you are about done. You are about to have everything done. As simple as that. Okay? You are about to have everything done. So now, let's try to go to the really main. I've seen some students that try to create an account manager or things like that. It's up to you whether or not you have to create an account manager. It's like a separate class of that. Probably you can do everything in the main class. That's not a big problem. Okay, that's not a problem. But what I will do is here I will create the account manager, because that's just my style that I like to. In the main, I want to keep the main as small as possible. Okay. So in the account manager, what you have here, you are going to have the list of accounts. All accounts. And that's pretty about it. And here what we are going to do is we create a constructor with nothing. What I will do is I will simply initialize all accounts is equal to array list of user account. Okay, and probably you need to create what? Create a sorting method that you are going to sort all these user account based on account balance. Okay, and if you see I like to get a print report, things like that, get a print report to generate report. Okay, let's try to do that. Okay. So what are the methods that I have here? Probably I try to create a sort. I will also try to create a generate report. Generate report. I specify the file name so that it would print everything to the file. Okay. Let's don't worry about this. Let's go to another. Create the main, create the driver. Okay. So let's try to create the driver. So I try to have the main method, and I call this the eBay main. Okay. And in the eBay main, what I do is first I need to read the information. Read the information in. Okay. Or if you say, oh, I don't read the information, how about I read the information from the account manager? Fine. Let's do it there if you want to. Okay, so let's do it here. If you feel more comfortable, I say public. I say void read account info. So I specify the file name. Try to read the information here. So what I will do, I say declare scanner. That's the input. Then I have a new, I say scanner, new file. That's the file name that I try to do. Okay. So once I create that, I try to read the information here. I read this information in line by line. Okay, I read the information in line by line. So you are going to go through this process until the end of the file. And the user's account information is what? Is enclosed in begin and pair. Begin and end pair. So it would be pretty easy for you to go through the process. Okay? So first what we are going to do is we see command is equal to input dot next. Let's do next line. So we read line by line. Okay. We get the first line, and then we would expect, at the beginning, we are going to expect this is the begin, right? We expect this is the begin, right? So everybody is following. We expect that this is the begin, okay? And what we are going to do is we will say while the command that we are going to get, as long as this is not equal to now, which means that we are not at the end, we are going to continue this process. Okay. So now, what we are going to read in will be the name, because we know that. That's the first thing that we are going to get in is the name. So I get the line in. So here I just read in begin. Put a little bit comment there. So we read the name in. Once I read the name, so what's the next one? No, we don't have to worry about the next. What we can do is at this time, when we read the name in, we can create a user account. We see user account current account information is equal to new user account with what? With this name. And what's the balance that we have? We put a 0 there. So we are done with that. Everybody is following fine up to this point. So we create the account. Then we try to say, what we are going to get. So everybody expect the next line would be a command, right? So we try to say command is equal to input dot next line. As long as the next line is not equal to end, we are going to continue this process. Because whenever it is end, what we need to do is we need to create another user. Okay? So what we are going to do is we see while the command that we have here is not equal to end. We are going to continue this process. It is not equal to end. Okay? So if it is equal to end, we are going to get out of here. Okay? And if it is end, we need to try to read the next one. The command is equal to next line again. When you do not have that, it means we are going to get a null out of this, and we will be able to jump out of the loop. So here, as long as this is not end, we are going to continue. Now we try to say if the command is equal to equals what? By we do something, else if the command equals to something else, else we have 3. So if it is equal to buy, we do something. If it is sell, we do something else. If it is a deposit, we do something. These are the 3 operations that we are going to do. So if it is buy, what we are going to do? You are going to read the next 2 lines here. You are going to read the product name, and you are going to read in buy, it will be name, quantity, and price. These are the 3 things that we have. So what we have is we have the name, we see product name, or item name. Let's call item name. Okay, item name is equal to input dot next line, input dot next line, and what we are going to have will be string dot item quantity is equal to integer dot parse int with input dot next line. Okay, and then the last thing that we have is the price. Item price is equal to double dot parse double. We have input dot next line. Believe or not, I'm sorry, it should be int. Okay, let's do that wrong. And this should be double. Okay? And once we are done with this, what we are going to do is the current item. It's the current account. Current account. What it's going to do? Current account, it will do a sell, a buy with the item name, with the quantity, with the item quantity, with the item price. I'm done. Okay? Similarly, I'll do this for the sell.
That's just the same thing, except the only difference I changed to buy to sell. And if it is deposit, what you are going to do? So I try to copy the same thing, but you don't have the name and the quantity anymore. You just have how much you are going to deposit amount. Get a little bit slow. Okay? And I'm about done. Except I do not have the printout, whatever that I have there, I do not have a sort. I do not have a sort. So let me try to, in the main, what you are going to do? Pretty easy for you to specify this. It would be account manager. I see manager is equal to new account manager. Then I'm going to read some information. Read account info. Specify the file name. So what's the file name that we have here? Whatever. Then after that, probably I will do a little bit sort. Okay. Then I try to generate the report. I'm done. That's just everything. That's just everything. The scheduling, can be built, very, very easily this way. And I can just go through the remaining process, try to, say, oh, how, in case there's something wrong, how could I debug, things like that. I can go through that pretty easily with you, okay?